Hello, this is Allie with the Perception Trainers, author of the Perception Diet, and today we have the first pillar of becoming a powerful co-creator in your life. And this first pillar is, again, one of my most favorite things to talk about because it is so vitally important for having a joyful life experience. Okay? So this first pillar is receptivity. Okay. So now, before we get into this, I just kind of want to say, this video series, I know that when a lot of people talk about creativity, okay, we get all up in our heads about vision boards and creative spaces and talking into the muse and creative flow and blah, 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 blah. And I kind of want to burst the bubble on a lot of these things that we think are being creative because they are not always what we need to be doing. Okay, so I'm not saying that things like vision boards and things like having a creative space and things like taking courses and all this stuff are not important at times, okay? But a lot of the time what I see in this world, okay, when people are working to become conscious creators of their own life, working to find their purpose, working to find a life that they love, working to find a life that fills them up and that they want to live every day, is that they get distracted with these pseudo-spiritual, new age, creative things, and they use them as a tool to avoid doing what they really need to do, okay? So we need to understand that living a creative life is not about vision boards. It's not about inspiration all over your house. It's not about having a creative corner. It's not about going to the artistic class. It's not about taking the writing class, blah, blah, blah. That stuff can sometimes have a place in this life, but that is not the nuts and bolts of this. Living a creative life is akin to living a life of responsibility. It is akin to figuring out who and what you are and expressing that in the world. A creative life is way deeper and way more important and impactful and meaningful than a lot of the new age stuff that we have out there right now about creativity. So I'm going to be bursting some of these bubbles as we go along, and I just want to kind of give you a heads up on that because so much of it just isn't real. So much of it just isn't going to give you what you want. And I know that they're nice ideas and we want to believe that they're going to help us because they sound pretty and it's nice. But here's the thing, right? There's going to be a lot of times, and I've talked to these people, right, where they tell me, like, maybe I just need to make a vision board. Maybe I just need my creative corner. But I'm like, no, you need to friggin' stand up for yourself in your marriage. You need to tell your husband that this is how you're feeling and that you don't want to do this anymore. You need to stand up to your boss. You need to tell him you don't want to do this anymore. You need to express this idea that you've had forever that you haven't told anybody, and you need to just do it. It isn't about another vision board. It isn't about another creative endeavor. It isn't about another course. That's all just distraction. Okay, so we're going to talk about this as we go along, but I just wanted to put that out there, that this is why I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm not neglecting it because I forgot about it. I'm neglecting it because I don't think it's important. Okay? Right now, for most people. Okay, so now let's talk about receptivity. To live a creative life, you're going to need 3 prongs. Okay? So the first prong is receptivity, meaning you are allowing yourself to be in a perpetual state of taking in more information. Because remember, to be in a state of love is to be in a state of growth, evolution, expansion, creation. To be in a state of fear is to be in a state of blocking information. No, I don't want to know. No, I don't want to see. No, I don't want to learn that. Learning means I was wrong before. I'm not going to accept anything new. New information means I'm wrong and bad. And we're then on a decay death cycle, right? Because if we're not learning, we're dying. If we're not growing, we're dying. And we can see this in the world, right? People who are resistant to new information, people who try to keep their life the same all the time, people who are looking for stability and security are dying Literally, this is not a metaphor, right? We can look this in the friggin' face. They're physically dependent upon medication and the medical system to keep them alive. That's dying. Yes, we fool ourselves into thinking that, because we're being held artificially not dead, that we're not dying, but we are. Yeah? And again, I'm not telling anyone out there, get off your medication, don't go to the doctor, anything like that. Of course not. What I'm saying is, we all just need to be real and say, it's true. The people who are resistant to growth, the people who are resistant to new information, the people who are victimizing themselves, which is basically saying, oh my gosh, I was wrong before and I'm so bad and I feel so bad, and da 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 da. Or, shut up, I'm not wrong. This is fine, everything's fine, here's why it's fine, even though it's not fine and everything's not really working and I'm just defending myself against everything. Two different ways of being a victim. I'm special because of my pain. We're dying. We're not living the life we want to live. Yeah? And that all boils down to not being receptive to new information. So this is why I said in the last video, the first and most important pillar of becoming a creative person and living a creative life is being willing to learn and think and try things for yourself. All right? So receptivity is everything on this path. You have to be willing to notice where things are not working for you and say, okay, I need more information. And I need to be able to allow that information to change what I am doing. And we're going to talk about that in the next video, so that I can become better, stronger, fitter, healthier on a life cycle. Yes? If you are resistant to new information, if you make new information mean you are wrong, if you will not accept an expansion of your awareness, an expansion of your understanding, an expansion of your being, you will never be a creator, a powerful creator who lives a life that is fulfilling for you. Okay? So let's take this back just one step and let's talk about what really creates a life where we feel satisfied and fulfilled and complete and like we're living on purpose. Okay? What most people think that is finding a state of perfection and hanging out there. And this could literally not be further from the truth. So now, right now, as you're watching this video, I want you to think about this for your own self. Okay? Because remember, if we can't apply this information to ourselves, if we can't think, it's not going to work. So where in your life are you currently looking for heaven? Okay? And here's the thing. Even if you're not religious, the entire world, every system out there is promising you a heaven. And what do I mean by a heaven? A heaven is if you just do the right thing, if you just follow all the rules, if you just do what you're told and are good in whatever way, and we'll talk about this in a second, the system that you're following is telling you means you're good. If you just do all the right things, you're going to land somewhere at some point where everything is just awesome, life stops happening to you, you reach this state of perfection where you don't need to grow or change or expand anymore, and then you just hang out there. Okay. Lots of religious people have this, yeah? In the sense of, if I'm a good person and I believe Jesus is in my heart and I do all the things I'm supposed to do as a Christian, I will be taken to heaven after I'm done. And in heaven, life stops, right? We just reach this pinnacle of experience where we're just dining on the feast table and everything is gold and angels are singing and life is just bliss for the rest of eternity. Yes? And so we have that version of it. We also have the financial version of it. Yeah? If you just buckle down, do your job, work hard, have your retirement fund, blah, 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 eventually you're going to retire and then life is going to stop happening to you. You don't have to go to work anymore. You don't have to do anything anymore. You get to just play with the grandchildren and go on vacation and live this awesome, just free life. Yes? That's a second version of heaven, retirement syndrome. We do this with health. Yeah? I'm just going to go on a diet. I'm going to figure out some perfect eating plan that's going to get me to this perfect body where I feel perfect health and I'm lean and I'm amazing, or all these things that I think that I need to be, and then I can just hang out there and never change my diet or my exercise or anything that I do ever again. Yes? The body heaven, where we just reach this pinnacle state of health and then nothing ever has to change ever again. We do this in our career. I'm going to work really hard, I'm going to do whatever I need to do, and I'm going to become famous, I'm going to become successful, I'm going to do my big thing, and then I'm going to be awesome forever. Yes, we all have our little version of heaven, of our happily ever after. We find our prince, and then they live happily ever after in the castle forever, and it's just amazing. Okay, if you want that, that is not satisfaction. You will never be satisfied if that's what you're going for. Because the one law of life that is the most important in the context of this creativity thing is that in order to be living, you have to be growing. In order to be living, you have to be growing. In order to be living, you have to be growing. In order to be living, you have to be growing. Meaning, there's no point where we're going to get to this after, and then we're done. That doesn't exist. And so long as you're searching for that, so long as you're looking for that security, that stability, that I'm done now, I got it all figured out, I got it all sorted, I don't need to learn anything new anymore, I don't need to expand anymore, I don't need to grow, growth is an option, blah, 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 you are going to be not on your path. Because that isn't life. That is not truth, and you will make yourself miserable so long as you're looking for that. The second you get on to this idea that to grow and expand is to be alive, that when we can let go of victimizing ourselves, when we learn new information that contradicts what we were doing before, when we can stop victimizing ourselves by defending ourselves against information or blaming ourselves for new information, and we can take in new information and allow it to grow us, that is where you will find fulfillment in every frickin' thing you do. This is why this is such a powerful turnaround, okay? If you are looking for stagnancy and stillness and a completeness, you are looking for death. You will die. You will put yourself on a death cycle every single time. You will destroy yourself. You will make yourself miserable. You will wonder why you are not creative. You will wonder why you don't have ideals. You will wonder why you can't just do anything. Because you're on a death cycle. You're literally setting your intention on death. And because you're a creator, you are creating it. Yes? The second you understand that no, growth is everything. Growth is life. Learning something new is awesome. I want to be wrong. I want to learn something new. I want to take new skills and expand upon them forever. That's the point, right? When you get onto that, that is how you start to feel fulfilled in everything you do. You don't have to get to an after to feel fulfilled. This is the beauty of receptivity, is that you will start to live a life where you're fulfilled in what you did today. Because today you learned something. Today you expressed something you'd never expressed before. Today you tried something you'd never tried before. It doesn't matter if it goes great or if it goes horrible. It won't matter to you because you will understand that if it goes great, great. You learned that what you thought was true. If it goes horrible, great. You learned that what you thought wasn't true, which means you're one step closer to learning what is true. And then going from there. This is it. Okay? So if you want a life where you can feel fulfilled the whole way, meaning you don't need to get to the pinnacle of your career. You don't need to get to the pinnacle of your health. You don't need to get to the pinnacle of your relationship. You don't need to find the person. You don't need to heal the thing. You don't need an after. It's the journey that's going to feel amazing. Right? If you want to feel amazing, you have to feel amazing now. There is no later where you're going to feel amazing. That doesn't exist. We're all putting it off, right? We're all kicking the can for this heaven. That is never going to come. It cannot. It literally cannot, because it goes against the fundamental law of life, which says, in order to be living, you have to be growing. There is no after. There is no end point. There is no done. There is no figured it out. And that is not what is going to make you happy, because that is death. That is death. That is the literal definition of death. Stagnancy. Done. Stop. No more. End. Death. You don't want death. Death is not going to satisfy you. You want life. Life is going to satisfy you. Only life is going to satisfy you. So, receptivity to new information. Letting go of that bullshit victim mentality that tells you that new information means you were wrong. No. You're on a journey, and it's going to be forever. You're never going to get there. So the base, most important foundation for becoming somebody who can be receptive is letting go of this idea that you need to be perfect and have everything all figured out before you're allowed to like yourself. Yes? If you can't like yourself right here, right now, on your journey, where you are, right here, right now, on your journey, you will never like yourself, because you're gonna continue to learn and grow and change and expand and be different for as long as you're living. And if you're not doing that, you're slowly dying. You're killing yourself, literally, physically, mentally, emotionally, creatively, every level. We kill ourselves when we shut ourselves off from new information. We kill ourselves when we don't let ourselves learn, grow, and expand. We kill ourselves when we make ourselves wrong for how we were before. When we choose not to grow, we kill ourselves. That's all it is. We stagnate and we start to go backwards. Okay? So this is why I say, I preach the whole love yourself in whatever you're in right now, even if it were never going to change. Like you can love yourself even if this bad habit, you never get rid of it. Love yourself even if this whole thing that you're in right now that you don't like never changes. Because it's this first level of accepting what is to be what is. It's not what's wrong. It's the symptom of where you're not seeing reality that kicks you over. Okay? So this huge part of being receptive is looking at all the things in your life that aren't working right now. And then rather than judging yourself for it, rather than making yourself wrong, rather than saying the thing is wrong and I got to get rid of this, yeah, which is what we want to do. I understand that. The second we do that, we cannot learn. We shut ourselves off from information the second we judge something as wrong. So this is why I say you have to love it like it doesn't matter if it never leaves. And this is that paradox, is that when you do this, when you actually do this, when you love your self-sabotaging behavior, when you love the thing that you can't stop doing, when you love your stagnancy, when you love your resistance, when you love all of these parts of yourself that are holding you back from moving forward, and you love them like it's okay if they never go away, the paradox is that's when you're going to learn what they're actually there to show you. Because the symptom, the self-sabotaging behavior, the thing that's holding you back, blah, 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 is not the problem. That's the symptom of where you're not seeing reality. And if you don't accept it as the symptom is the answer, the symptom is the answer. Your anxiety is the answer. Your eating disorder is the answer. Your self-sabotaging behavior is the answer. Go in, get the information. What are you trying to tell me? That you accept it so much that you can actually listen to it. You become receptive to new information. And the biggest area where you need to be receptive is where things aren't working. You need to be able to say, okay, it's not working. Why? What's going on? There's nothing wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with this. This symptom isn't wrong. It's right. It should be happening. It's telling me I'm out of alignment with reality. So what's reality? Love the symptom. Love the thing. Listen to my judgment video. Okay? Become receptive to new information. Most importantly, where things are painful and hard. That's the most important new information. Okay? So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down below. Then answer your own question, and then I will answer. And we'll see you in the next video.